Hey, it's the preacher. We're out in the garden again today. Champ, you're going to have to go breathe somewhere else so people don't want to hear you panting. We're out in the garden today, and I'm going to tell you what I want to do. About 4 or 5 days ago, I came out here with a hoe just like this, and I just went around chopping up weeds. And I tried to turn the dirt over, but mainly I just wanted to rough up the top of the soil. And the reason I wanted to do that is because all winter long these beds have laid dormant. By allowing them to lay dormant, I let weeds grow in them, just anything that wanted to come up. Now that it's time to plant, and before these weeds go to seed, I come out here and turn them over. Now, what were the weeds? Most of it is what we call henbit. That's this little purple stem. I don't know what the real name for it is. Just heard it called henbit. It has a little purple flower on it. And the rest of it, or most of it, was wheat seed from the straw that we mulch in. So all I wanted to do was get the straw that hadn't decomposed yet in contact with the dirt so it began to rot. Most of it had rotted down, but there were still some places of straw. There were some stands of weeds. So I've gone through here and chopped all that up. It's been about 4 days. Most of the weeds have died. There's a few that are dying. So here's what I'm going to do. Today I'm going to add some compost. Some compost from grass clippings. And I'm going to put that mainly on these newer beds. I have 3 new beds over here, and I have a new bed back there. This soil in my older raised beds, this dirt is still extremely soft. It was a good sandy soil when I started. All I've done is add organic matter. That soil didn't have the amount of organic matter that the older beds have. So I'm going to put a heavy layer of organic compost, or not organic compost, just compost, and some leaf structure, some stuff that'll rot and improve that soil. So I'm going to add that today. I'm going to turn it under with a fork, and then I'll probably come over here with either a hoe like this or a rake, and I'll just, any of the weeds that are still alive, maybe I didn't bust up the root ball good enough, I'll break them up. Also, I have a rosemary plant that I left out over the winter. I'm going to move it. I also have a thyme plant that survived over the winter. I'm going to move it. I'm going to give them permanent homes over next to the blueberry bush. And that'll free up all these beds to do whatever I want. So, come go along. Let's get to work. Alright, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this because of the dark colors, but our compost pile is in a old livestock watering trough, and it got rained on. The tarp blew off in a big storm, and so a bunch of water got in here. So most of that is rotten and pretty well broke down, but there is a lot of water in it. What I'm going to attempt to do is get some of this rotted grass and straw, is all that is, and I'm going to put that in the wheelbarrow. Alright, there's what I ended up with for this first load. I'm going to go dump this, rake it out on top of that bed, and we'll turn it under, see what happens. Can't get out of there. Okay, that's all we're trying to accomplish right there. Just think of this as like you're mixing up a batter. I've added another ingredient and I've turned it under, and it's not thoroughly mixed, but it is some of it's on top, some of it's under the dirt. I can come back with just a hoe and smooth out the top. I've already got dirt here, dirt there, compost here. I'll add some rabbit pellets right before I plant, and I'll just smooth up the top, and I'll decide what I'm going to put in each one of these beds. So let me get to work, and I'm going to do 3, maybe 4. Yeah, I'll probably do 4 more beds, and then we'll see how much compost we got left. I may do them all. Depends on how well this fat boy can hold out. If my back's good, I'll keep going. Let's take a look at it. You know, it's not been tilled, but it's been turned. Now that hadn't been turned, that's what it would look like. You'd see all them big splotchy black pieces of rotten grass over the top. I put a little bit in each of the tubs that I have. Those are the self-wicking tubs. You see just kind of a calico patchwork of dirt and grass. Got them all done. But now we've got another set of problems. Now we've got this tub full of just mainly water. You can see the line up there about where it was, and now it's down. Of course, that's all hard. But down here I just got soup. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I'm thinking it too. Hey man, that's liquid gold. Just save that till you get your plants put in and then pour it on them. But here's the problem with that. That grows mosquitoes. That's a swamp. And so what we need to do is drain the swamp. I don't know if you've ever heard of this concept or not, but I want to drain the swamp. I want to drain this swamp, and I want to drain the one up there in Washington, D.C. while we're at it. What happens if you drain the swamp? Well, you do away with all those bugs and stuff, and also it becomes fertilizer for a healthy garden. You see, if people realized what would happen if we removed all the bureaucracy, all the bloated government, all the career politicians who've made millions, quote unquote, serving us, and we replaced them with true citizen servants who went up there to do their job, which was to make America a better place to live and to represent our values to the rest of the world, we could have a beautiful garden here, and we could take those problems, like this swamp, turn it into something that makes everything else healthy and grow again. So I'm going to get a 5-gallon bucket, and I'm going to pour it on the old part of my raised beds. And the only reason I'm doing that now is just because I want it out of here. I don't want it growing mosquitoes. It's early. Mosquitoes are just starting to come out, and I don't need 20 gallons of muck for them to raise in. So I'm going to get this drained, and I'll bring you back when we get done. We'll recap. Now, I'm an old swimming pool builder from way back. The key to mucking out a hole is to always dip on the same side. If you don't, you'll have that, and then when you're carrying it, that's what'll be rubbing up against you. So clean side, whether I carry it on this hand or this hand, I don't get any of that on there if I don't have to. So clean side up. There. I don't know if you can see it, but I got about that much. Let's go put it on the garden. Let me take you over here and tell you why I'm growing a raised bed. A lot of people find my channel through straw bale gardening videos. The very first thing I did on YouTube was a straw bale garden. And I'll just be honest with you. You can grow stuff in them, but there's better ways to do it. You can grow a lot of stuff in a straw bale garden, but there's better ways to grow vegetables than straw bales. And as I've said in a number of those videos, if you don't have soil and you're not going to be somewhere very long, go buy some straw bales plant stuff. But if you don't have soil, plant raised beds, build raised beds, add dirt to it, do what I'm doing, make compost, add to the dirt you've got. Every year, your raised bed will just get better and better and better and better. This is the hardest part of raised beds, adding all this by hand. You don't have to do this. I'm growing my own fertilizer. People's been saying I'm full of bull anyways, but you could go buy it in the bags. You could back up in your yard or wheelbarrow it around. Real easy, cut open a bag of peat moss, cut open a bag of compost, shake it out in your raised bed. These raised beds here, the old raised beds, are 12 by 12 total square foot there. I mean, that's their imprint. There's 3 wings, 3 sides and a center section. These others are 2 by 8s, and I have 4 of those, and then I have a little 2 by 4 with some, perennials in it. I'm growing so much that I'm feeding the church out of this. I'm canning. I'm giving away ground peppers. I've got canned tomatoes. I'm canned salsa. You can grow all you want in raised beds this size. So I'm 100 pounds overweight. I've got an irregular heartbeat, causes me to get out of breath at times. When I was a kid, I broke a vertebrae in my back sledding. It's never healed back right. I've got problems, but I can still do this. Don't tell me that. Hang on.
Yeah. Pollen coming.
Where was I? Oh yeah. I've got problems. But even a fat guy with an irregular heartbeat and a broken back can still get out here in a morning. This didn't take me an hour to do all this, to turn these beds, to drain that. I've still got to transplant the thyme and the rosemary, but that's it. Everything from here is just sticking plants in the ground, mulching it with straw. There's nothing hard after today. If I can do this, anybody can grow raised beds. They are easy. Now, raised beds aren't a cure-all. You can only build so many raised beds. If you're going to grow a lot more than me, no, traditional farming is the way to go. It's so much easier to prepare your soil because you can use mechanized equipment. I don't have a tiller. I did all this by hand with a turning fork and a hoe. But I would recommend that everybody have a few raised beds. Let me tell you why. Last year, it rained and rained and rained and rained and rained. We even had a record flood last year. There were people who tilled their garden and never got it planted because it never dried enough for them to get in it. Having raised beds allows you to walk around these beds. I have a walking path where I can get around these beds. It could rain 6 inches. I could still come out here, put plants in the soil if I wanted to, because I can stand on firm ground and reach into my turned soil, not tilled, but turned over soft, loose soil and plant. So put in a raised bed. Grow your own fertilizer. If you don't grow your own fertilizer, buy some fertilizer. But either way, It's a really, really great way to grow a garden. I love it. I recommend it. I think everybody ought to do it. So, thanks for watching. Hardest day of raised bed gardening was today, and it's over. All we got to do now is, we'll come back out here in a month or two when we plant, chop in a few weeds, nothing big, turn the soil a little bit, chop up any of the weeds that didn't die from this, and any that sprout between now and then when we plant, we'll mulch with straw, and so the straw will suppress the weeds, and makes it pretty simple to take care of. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video, which will probably be something to do with crappie, because I went crappie fishing. We caught a ton of them. I've got a game camera over a pile of crappie scraps. I need to go check on that. I want to see if I can get a bobcat or coyote or coon or something. Maybe get them all fighting. Wouldn't that be like an ultimate cage match? Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.